I request dignitaries and guests to please join on the dais. Professor Yogesh Singh Ji, Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi. Dr. Ali Chagini, the Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Iran. Professor Ramesh C. Gaur Sahab, Dean Academic IGNCA. Please, sir. I think Professor Kazim Kaidu is not here. He is not here. And the keynote speaker of the day, Professor Ramesh Bhardwaj ji. Please. One of the organizer, Professor Rajinder Kumar, Head Department of Persian University of Delhi. Please. Professor Ali Akbar Shah, maybe sometime you will also be a professor, no problem at all. Yeah, yes, Secretary, Persian Foundation of India and convener of this seminar. So, Professor Kadui will join later. Respected guests on the dais, teachers, colleagues, delegates from Iran, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and other countries, national delegates, students, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, namaskar, and salam to all of you. As we know that our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Yogesh Singh Ji, presiding over the two-day international seminar on the theme, The Impact of Indic Civilization upon Persian Civilization under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsava. This conference is organized by the Department of Persian, University of Delhi, in collaboration with IGNCA, ICSSR, and ARC. Sir, with your permission, can I start my proceedings? Thank you very much, sir. Huzar-e Girami Khanumha wa Aghayan. Bename Khudawande Kono Makan. Khudawande Inso Khudawande Jan. Khudawande Behro Khudawande Bar. Khudawande Aflako Shamso Qamar. Khudawande Taro Khudawande Noor. Khudawande Gilman Khudawande Hur. Baraf rakhte gumbade nuh se pair. Baraf rukhte mishale maho meher. Professor Kazim Kaidui, Professor of Persian Language and Literature from Yazd University. Khadiyu zamino zamanas to bas, Shahenshah har do jahanas to bas. Dear guests, मोहब्बत सिखाना, मोहब्बत से रहना, मोहब्बत के लम्हों को तकसीम करना, इन्हीं से मुनव्वर है मेरा कबीला, कबीले में मेरे अंधेरा कहाँ है? Now we have to honor our distinguished guests and dignitaries with bouquet, and I welcome all my guests before presentation of bouquet with an Urdu couplet. चमन तुमसे इबारत है, चमन तुमसे इबारत है, बहारें तुम पे नाज़ां हैं, तुम्हारे सामने फूलों से मुरझाया नहीं जाता. Now I invite Professor Rajinder Kumar, Head Department of Persian, to present a bouquet to our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Yogesh Singh Ji. Now, if you will allow, I myself welcome the chief guest of the inaugural session, His Excellency Dr. Ali Chagini. Na Afghani mo ne Turko Tatarim, Chamanzadi mo Azyak Shaq Sarim, Tamize Rango Bubama Haramast, ke ma Parvarde Yak No Baharim, Tabrik Arzmi Kunam Baraye Fararasida ne Sale No be Khidmat Safir Mohtaram. Now I invite one of my colleague, Dr. Mehtab Jahan, to present a bouquet to an eminent professor of Persian language and literature and guest of honor of this inaugural session with a couplet of Persian. Hiç shadi neest andar in jahan bartaras didare ruए dostan. Now I invite my colleague, Dr. Ali Akbar Shah, Secretary, Persian Foundation of India, to present a bouquet to Professor Ramesh Bhardwaj ji, Head Department of Sanskrit and a thorough and sincere scholar of Sanskrit, and keynote speaker of Today International Conference. सर, आपके लिए एक शेर पढ़ना चाहता हूँ. मिसल खुर्शीद सहर फ़िक्र की ताबानी में, बात में सादा व आज़ाद, मानी में दकीक. Now I invite one of my colleague, Dr. Ziaur Rahman, to present a bouquet to Professor Kazim Kehdui. दे दिए, सॉरी. To present a bouquet to Professor R.C. Gaur Sahab, the Dean, IGNCA, and the host of this international conference. He is host, but he is a guest of us. He is a guest. So we welcome you, sir. Now, after this bouquet presentation, we are heading towards Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and the impact of Indic civilization on Persian civilization. अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि भारत ने दुनिया को वासुदेव कुटुंबकम का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया, पंचतंत्र, अद्वैत का फ़लसफ़ा, शतरंज, श्रुति, आयुर्वेद दिया, योगा दिया, पाणिनि जैसा ग्रामेरियन दिया, सुश्रुता संहिता दिया, चरक संहिता दिया, सल्होत्रा दिया, भारतीय खड़ग दी, जिसे हम शमशीर या तलवार भी कहते हैं, विरामैर दिया, महावीर और भगवान बुद्ध जैसा इंसान दिया, जिसने तमाम फ़ारसी ज़बान कौमों में अपनी एक छाप छोड़ी. फ़लसफ़ा, लिटरेचर, मेडिसिन, रियाजी, एस्ट्रोनॉमी, एस्ट्रोलॉजी, इन सबको मुतारिफ़ कराया. ये कोई अतिशोक्ति नहीं है, ये बिल्कुल सच है, ये हकीकत है, हम सब जानते हैं ये बात. इसके बाद मेरा दिल चाहता है कि माँ भारती के कदमों में एक हदिया निसार करता चलूँ. रश के फिरदौस से बरी, चांद सितारों से हंसी, मेरी धरती मेरा महबूब वतन मेरी ज़मीं. चांद की बस्ती बसा लो कि सितारों के नगर, हर जगह धरती के चेहरे का उजाला होगा. तुम जहाँ भूल रहे होंगे खलाओं में डगर, इसकी अज़मत के ख़यालों ने संभाला होगा. इसकी तनवीर व तजल्ली है सरे चरख़ बरी, मेरी धरती मेरा महबूब वतन मेरी ज़मीं. गुफ्तगू करता इसके अजंता का दयार, रूहे मरमर में भी चमकाता हुआ ताज का नूर. बांटती वादिये कश्मीर बहारों को वक़ार, जुरतें देता हुआ इसके हिमालय का गुरूर. इसके सागर की हर एक मौज पे साहिल है मकीं, मेरी धरती मेरा महबूब वतन मेरी ज़मीं. इसकी आगोश में मछली हुई ममता की दुलार, फसल एहसास को लहकाते हुए गंगो जमन. इसके हर रूप में आराइश फितरत का सिंगार, इसके हर रंग में तारीख़ व तमद्दुन की फबन. आके तस्कीन मिली लुत्फ़ मशीयत को यहीं, मेरी धरती मेरा महबूब वतन मेरी ज़मीं. There is an announcement regarding a slight change in the program. In the inaugural session, Honorable Professor Sachidanand Joshi, Member Secretary IGNCA, due to some urgent assignment, is not present, and Honorable Professor Ramesh Chandra Gaur Sahab, Dean, Academic and Director, Library and Information, and Head of Kalanidhi, IGNCA, and host of this inaugural session and two-day conference. I request you, sir, to please deliver the welcome address. I invite him. साथ अगर हैं तो काफ़ी हैं हम, साथ अगर हैं तो काफ़ी हैं हम, निर्भर हैं खुद पर हम रखते हैं दम, तुझसे ही तो जिंदा हूं मैं ओ मेरे हिंदुस्तान, भारत भारत ओ भारत मेरी जान. प्लीज सर.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रोफेसर अशरफ फॉर योर वेरी काइंड वर्ड्स. नमस्कार. It indeed a great honor in extending this hearty welcome to all of you in this 2 days international conference on impact of Indic civilization on Persian civilization, being held at IGNCA in collaboration with Department of Persian Studies, University of Delhi, and also other collaborative partner. I'm so honored to extend a very hearty welcome to all our dignitaries on dais, as well as all the participants, delegates in the hall, as well as those who have joined us through our YouTube and Facebook channel. On behalf of Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, I'm standing here to extend a very hearty welcome to our very valued partner, His Excellency Mr. Ali Chagani, the Honorable Ambassador of Republic of Iran. IGNCA and Iran Embassy is collaborative partner in many events. We have been working on organizing various festivals, and personally, I'm very fortunate to have a number of partnership with various institutions in Iran, and from time to time, we have been collaborating. So thank you for your kind presence and gracing this occasion. We are honored to welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi, Professor Yogesh Singh, who is also a very valued partner for IGNCA and always supportive of our activities and always there whenever we need it. Thank you, sir. We have with us a keynote speaker here today to deliver the keynote in Professor Ramesh Bharadwaj, who is a professor and head of Department of Sanskrit, University of Delhi. Thank you, sir, for your kind presence. We also have with us Mr. Professor Kazim Kedoi. I am not able to see his name here, so thank you for your another keynote address and welcome you to IGNCA, and our partner Professor Rajendra Kumar, Dr. Ali Akbar Shah, and all other collaborators. I extend a very hearty welcome to all of you. We have a lot of shared common heritage between India and Iran, and I personally witnessed during my interaction with counterpart in Iran. For example, we have eminent photographic collection of Raja Deen Dayal. A part of collection is here, and another part of collection is in Golestan Palace in Iran. And there are number of such shared common heritage in terms of language, in terms of culture, in terms of tradition, which going to discuss in this particular today international conference. I'm not going to deliberate more on that. I just want to highlight that IGNCA is always willing to extend support and all kind of collaboration for anything when two countries comes together and we enhance mutual cultural relations. In this regard, a landmark work was done by IGNCA. We have compiled a distributed catalog of Maulana Rumi's work. Professor Kazmi is here. And that was something well appreciated by not just Iran, but other countries where Maulana Rumi is one of the known personality. And similarly, we have been discussing several other collaborative programs to enhance mutual cooperation in these countries. So on behalf of IGNCA and also on behalf of our member secretary, Dr. Sachidanand Joshi, who is, because of certain commitment outside Delhi, he is not able to make it today. I welcome you once again, and thank you very much, and looking forward to interaction.
Thank you very much, sir, Professor Gaur Sahab, for your thought-provoking welcome address. Now I call upon Professor Rajinder Kumar, Head Department of Persian, University of Delhi, for opening remarks. I invite him with a couplet, Mahe no, कहकशान, फूल सबा, अब्र बहार, आ भी जा, अब तेरे आने के ज़माने आए.
Shukriya Alim Sahab for this wonderful couplet. Good morning, Assalamu alaikum, Khosh Amdeed, Durood bar Hamishma. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Department of Persian, I welcome Professor Yogesh Singh, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, and thank to preside over this inaugural session of this international seminar entitled The Impact of INDIC Civilization on Persian Civilization. I also welcome to His Excellency Dr. Ali Chegani, Honorable Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Iran, New Delhi, and Dr. Ramesh C. Gaur, Professor Ramesh Bhardwaj, Honorable Key Speaker and Head Department of Persian, University of Delhi. I also welcome foreign delegates, Professor Kazim Kahdwai from Judge University, Iran, Professor Murtaza Mohsini from Mazandaran University, Iran, Dr. Jawad Ahmadi, Secretary of Foundation of Bedil, Iran, and Seema Abbasi from Iran, Dr. Aziza from Uzbekistan, Dr. Ali Akbar from Uzbekistan. This international seminar is being organized in the wake of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav with the support and collaboration of Ministry of Culture, Persian Foundation of India, IGNCA, ICCR, and Asia Research Center of Tehran University. First of all, I want to apprise all of you regarding the Department of Persian. The University of Delhi was established in 1922, and with its establishment, the Department of Persian was also set up. The Department of Persian has been functioning in the university since its establishment, and at that time, it was part of the combined departments of Arabic, Persian, and Urdu. The Department of Urdu was established as an independent department in 1959. Later on, departments of Arabic and Persian bifurcated as separate departments in 1978. With the establishment of the Department of Persian, in the Faculty of Arts, late Professor Sayyid Amir Hassan Abdi was appointed HOD. Professor Abdi had made a plan to prepare the history of Indo-Persian literature produced in India. It is a matter of great satisfaction that the department has succeeded to some extent in its mission, and today the department has more than 60 awarded PhDs and more than 70 MPhils. The literary and academic activities of the department are not confined merely to teaching and learning of Persian language and literature, but also exchange of views, periodical gatherings with esteemed academicians are arranged. The department conducts a weekly seminar on every Wednesday for the research scholar, where research scholars exchange their views with the faculties. During the years of pandemic COVID-19, Department of Persian organized 24 lectures online, which were delivered by Iranian and Indian scholars. Likewise, 7 national and international seminars were organized online and offline. VC sir, I feel proud to inform the august guests that 8 faculties of Department of Persian were conferred certificate honor by the President of India for their contribution in the field of Persian language and literature. Likewise, Padam Shri was conferred to late Professor Sayyid Amir Hassan Abdi and Professor Rehanna Khatun. 4 faculties of the department were conferred International Award Book of the Year in the 2nd Regional Book Award by Government of Islamic Republic of Iran in 2020. Likewise, 6 faculties were conferred International Sadi Award. One of them is Professor Ali Mashraf Khan, was awarded this prestigious international award by the Honorable Ambassador, who is sitting here, on 9th March 2022. Historical relations between India and Iran are date back to a remote past. Both the civilizations are Aryans. Perhaps this is the reason various similarities are found in the ancient religious texts of both the civilizations. Some scholars of Sanskrit, Old Persian, and Avesta language are opined that these languages are the sisters born of the same mother. There is a description of North India in Avesta, the holy book of Zoroastrian. During the reign of Achaemenian king Darius, and particularly the Safavid dynasty kings, many intellectuals, artisans, and poets migrated from Iran to India, and some of them settled down here, and intermarriages were happened. Thus, this reciprocal exchange enriched the both cultures. In the Shahnama Firdausi mentions the Iranian Sassanid king Bahram Ghor requested the Indian king Shangul to send singers and musicians to Iran that they teach Iranians the art of Indian music. There are several examples of very close relations in the pre-Islamic era, such as well-known translation of Panchtantra into Pahlavi language as Kalile Dimne. The game of chess was introduced to Iran in 1206. Qutbuddin Aibak was appointed slave king. Thus, Islamic rule set up in India since then. Ghaznavi's army were accompanied by thousands of Iranian scholars, writers, poets, and physicians who brought with them Persian language and literature, and this led to the impact of Iranian culture on the Indian culture. Iranian people also influenced by the Indian culture and traditions reciprocally. In the reign of Mughal dynasty, particularly Akbar, many INDIC books were translated into Persian language, such as Upanishads, Ramayana, Gita, Shuks, Satpati, Yog Vishista, etc. Usually, there is a tradition in India and Iran. Topic of seminars and conferences are impact on Persian language literature on India. This is the first time ever in India and Iran the Department of Persian organizes international seminar entitled "The Impact of Indic Civilization on Persian Civilization." I hope many interesting historical and cultural facts will be revealed in these 2 days. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor Rajendra Kumar, for your opening remarks. It was really wonderful, and you covered all the aspects of this 2-day international seminar on the topic Impact of Indic Civilization on Persian Civilization. But sir, he has not brought his name to the record because he also has taken Sadi Award, given Sadi Award on 9th of the March. But he has not given his name because he was just reading the names of others. Now I invite Professor Ramesh Bhardwaj ji, an eminent scholar, researcher, and a good administrator. Now he is heading Department of Sanskrit, University of Delhi. He has many books to his credit. He traveled so many countries and continents in search of knowledge. I invite him with a couplet of Urdu. ये महर ताबा से जाके कह दो, ये महर ताबा से जाके कह दो कि अपनी किरणों को गिन के रखे, मैं अपने सहरा के जर्रे जर्रे को खुद चमकना सिखा रहा हूँ. आइए प्रोफेसर.
Om. Well, I prepared a keynote address in English, and I was planning to say something from these papers. But in the beginning, if you want to know the world, then only 2 words can denote the real nature of the world. One is Bharat, India, and second is Iran. If you miss these 2 words, you cannot understand right the history of mankind on this earth. Well, just to say about the history, to understand the real history, we have some tools. First is textual linguistics that we have to prove the first statement. Second, if you want to know the true history of this mankind, then you have archaeological evidences. We all know about the relation of Avesta, Rigved, Panchatantra, others, as Professor Rajendra has stated. But just go through the archaeological evidences of this great area. From Harappa to Mesopotamia, West Asia, just go to the Iran and ultimately visit the Central Asia. This is the compact one cultural country. How? I will try to explain that. Well, Indo-Iranian linkage, we explored the strong bindings of Indian and Iranian people for over 6,000 years. This is recorded in the archaeology. It notes how Indian texts like the Mahabharata and Puranas recorded the existence of the Persian whom they called the Parsikas. Trade between Achaemenians and the Indian lasted not only till the rule of Sasanians. The strong economical and civilizational ties bind Iran and India till this date. The close links of Rigved and Avesta, I think I should give up this and I just go first tool, that is the linguistic data of Indo-Iranians. Well, we know about the history of Indian languages, Vedic language to Hindi or modern Indian languages. In a specific sense, there exists also a group of Dardic and another of Kafiri, also called Nuristani languages, genetically related to the Indian tongues but separated from them at an early epoch. The Dardic idioms such as Shaina, Indus, Kohistani, Khowar, Kalassa, Pashai, Tirahi became isolated from the Indian ones before the rise of Prakritism and Kafiri languages Kali, Vaigli, Askun, Prasun still earlier. Thus won the territory of the Indian subcontinent from the second half of the second millennium BC. There existed groups of respectively Indian, Dardic, Kafiri dialects, all belonging to the Indo-Iranian family of languages. On the territory of Iran, Afghanistan and Central Asia and Pakistan again, another group of languages, Persian, Tajik, Pashto, Ossetic, Baluchi, Shugnani, Yidga, Munji, Wakhi, Yagnobi, etc. is known belonging also to the same family of languages but termed Iranian in a specific sense of the word. Modern Iranian languages also have their medieval history called Middle Iranian languages, Middle Persian, Parthian, Sogdian, Bactrian, Khorabian, Saka, Alan, etc., as well as their forerunners in antiquity termed Old Iranian, Old Persian, Avestan, Pahlavi, etc. With the help of an abundance of linguistic and literary monuments, Rigved and Avesta, it was easy to relate genetic relationship between the Indo-Dardic, Kafiri and Iranian languages. In antiquity, for example, Avesta stood so near to Vedic Sanskrit that by making use of the phonetic correspondence between the two, we can transpose whole Avestan sentences word by word, sound by sound into Vedic Sanskrit. Genetic relationship between the Indo-Dardic, Kafiri and Iranian languages means that they formed a common system of communication, a linguistic unity in other terms. And we use in linguistics phylum word. This phylum from India to Iran, West Asia and Central Asia, this is one phylum linguistic community which was using the same origin of our languages. Well, We all know from the history of Iran that Iran ruled the whole Central Asia and other areas also till this border of Sindhu River. Up to this area, there was Iranian rule in the history of mankind. Well, when we say that we have the history of linguistic evidence, just remember the Mitanni kingdom. The Mitanni kingdom of Upper Mesopotamia, which was established by people having a language very similar to that of Indo-Iranians. These people are supposed to have come to Mesopotamia between 1741 to 1600 BC. In this area, the cuneiform inscriptions discovered at Bogazkoi in northern Asia Minor revealed certain terms and names of deities, which are unmistakably of the Aryan. In this regard, a treaty recorded in the Bogazkoi inscription has to be taken into consideration. For the names of gods, it mentions the king of Hittite named Subibullah invaded the territories of the Mitanni in Asia Minor. A treaty was made in 1360 BC by him with that Mitanni king, in which we have a mention of deities as witness to this treaty. Mitra, Varuna, Indra, and Nasatya. And the same deities, gods, also we find their reference in the Avestan literature. Well, I told Akbar Sahab that I'm not going to present the contribution of India to the Iranian culture through literature, culture, etc. But my small presentation is about the contribution of India in collaboration with Iran in the field of science and technology. Because from last 7,000 years, these two brothers, India and Iran, well, as per our traditional theory, you may understand that theory, that Vedic people were united in India, but due to religious differences, Zarathustra, a great seer of Vedic area, left India after fighting on the basis of the religious matters and established one new kingdom in Iran, as Avesta mentions. These Western scholars, Eurocentric scholars, destroy the real history of our Indo-Iranian relations. They say that we came from Central Asia, we came from other European countries. No. Because in Avestan literature, we find the references of Sapta Sindhu and specific geological places of India in the Avestan literature. But in Rigveda or Vedic literature, we do not find any reference, geographical reference of Central Asia or Iran. It means when Zarathustra, as we know the Iranian traditional history, 8,500 BC was that age when Zarathustra left India and established one new kingdom, Irana, Arya Desh in Iran. And as we all know that we have three phases of our contribution to the world. Pre-Harappan, as we have received in the archaeological evidences, especially we must thank Dr. Mughal of Pakistan, who excavated in Mehergarh, in Baluchistan and other areas and found that the culture of Indian people of 6,000, 7,000 BC was in developing stage. And in the mature Harappan age, which is 3,000 to 1300 BC, this time, this period was used by the Indian people in providing scientific and technological items to the whole world. And the root, just try to understand, both Baluchistan and Indus Valley traditions developed from an early agricultural society. We were not nomadic. हम लोग चरवाहे नहीं थे हिंदुस्तान के लोग. We were well equipped in the sophisticated irrigation system, in agriculture system as we have received in Mehergarh in Pakistan and in Kalibangan, and more than 400 sites received by Indians in the Saraswati River culture, especially in Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, and Gujarat. So, this culture, the population growth, and craft specialization created socio-economic prerequisites for the emergence of Harappan civilization, because there was a long history of the development of all these technologies. Cultural and trade links became more intense and regular with the Central Asian region. At a number of Balochistan sites, links the southern Turkmenistan are particularly obvious in the painted pottery. The vessels imported from the Balochistan, decorated in the null style, were discovered in wealthy graves of important early urban center of Shahr-e-Sokhta in the Iranian province of Sistan. The urban development in the Indus Valley introduced the pattern of the earliest urbanization in this part. Two things are clear. The first is the surplus food production in the fertile soil of the river irrigated plains, Punjab, Sapsindhu River area, mainly yielding wheat and barley and cotton as the cash crop. The surplus was stored in granaries, two of which have been exposed, one at Mohenjo-daro and another at Harappa. The second aspect of urban life was craft specialization and industrialization of the cities. Copper, which was available from Balochistan and neighboring Rajasthan, was the basic metal for industrial and commercial development. There is little doubt that timber, probably from the Deodar tree, was obtained in the northern hills from Himalaya. As the excavations at Mohenjo-daro, timber beams are known to have been used in brick masonry, carpenter's tools, evidence of skill in carpentry. These three items, copper, cotton, and timber, appear to have been the mainstay of urban prosperity. For luxury goods, shell, ivory, lapis lazuli, carnelian, and other precious stones, as well as gold and silver, were obtained to manufacture articles of common taste. A bead making, even today in all Delhi, bead making work is so popular and which is exported to all African or European countries. Still we have that tradition. Bead making craft was well established. The painted pottery tradition speaks of another specialized craft. Two kinds of stones were previously used. Steatite, probably from the neighborhood of Tepeyaya in eastern Iran, was used for making seals, and alabaster for cups and vessels. Limestone statues, music instruments, dancing figures tell of the development of fine arts in this culture. Except for the last few items, others were already in use of pre-Indus culture, in pre-Harappan also. But in this period, there is an acceleration and standardization of these products. The sea provided an outlet to overseas markets. There is nothing in this economic exploitation that needed foreign influence. Material evolution from indigenous sources is well documented. On the other hand, the standardization of goods, enforcement of definite system of weight and measures, and above all, formulation and execution of municipal rules in the cities. And the same type of Harappan cities we find in West Asia, same as we find in Harappan civilization. Well, the scholars review the archaeological evidence for cotton and flax in South Asia. This is the theory given by the archaeologists on the basis of the archaeobotanical evidence. That cotton, because in Rigveda, we have one rishi, Krith Samad. And cotton was invented by that seer as Rigveda quotes. And this was, highlighted by Acharya Vinoba Bhave in his book, that Grit Samadrishi was the inventor of cotton. And this cotton production was so popular, which was given to West Asia, Central Asia, and to others. Well, I think this is very long, but that will only one issue. Till 70s, we have been looking towards Mesopotamia and Iran, generally called West Asia, for the beginning of all the major cultural horizons in India, and had borderlands. Beginning from 4000 BC and coming down to 400 BC, Fair Service, Alchin, Wheeler, Sankalia, Mughal, and others who worked hard to understand the dynamics of early culture in this part of the world, again and again referred to Çatal, Huyuk, and Bogazkui in Turkey, Jarmo and Ur in Iraq, and Sialk, Hisar, and Shah Tepe in Iran. No one of them overthought, except Mughal and Asthana, that Central Asia is also a potential region with which South Asia interacted intimately. All archaeological findings of Central Asia were in Russian, because that was occupied by the Russia that time, Soviet Central Asia. So all research were in Russian language. But in 1972, those findings were published in English. Then we were able, Indian scholars and other scholars, the great contribution in making this area of the Central Asian countries, all countries, minerals and technology and other things also, that was first time highlighted. And what is this Central Asia? Central Asia was a melting pot of people and cultures coming from all directions. Chinese from the east, Indians from the south, Iranians and Greco-Roman from the west, and nomadic tribes from the north. Iranians, as we know from history, were inhabiting the Central Asia region up to Tajikistan. I remember the quotation of Saryanidhi, a great Soviet archaeologist, when he was making excavation in Central Asia. He was comparing all those artifacts with Avestan quotations. And it's all Russian reports, because when Government of India sent me to Russia to collect all this material of the Central Asian excavations, that time I found that from Rigveda, from Avesta, each and every artifact was compared. And in history, what we say, if textual linguistic evidence and archaeological evidence make juxtaposition, that becomes truth. Well, I think before Sahab have some time, or no, just I think it's enough for the, because this is a very long paper which can be given for publication to the Department of Persian, because my name was given by my friend, my 42 years old friend, Chandrasekhar. हम दोनों ने एक साथ इस यूनिवर्सिटी में बीए से दिल्ली कॉलेज से पढ़ाई शुरू की थी. वो पर्शियन में चला गया, मैं संस्कृत में आ गया. पर हम लोगों ने 40 साल की रातें आर्ट्स फैकल्टी के अंदर अपनी रिसर्च करके, उसको मालूम था कि मेरा इसमें इंटरेस्ट है, कि द पर्पस ऑफ दिस लाइफ इज टू शो दैट today's West is nothing. Only Iran made that Europe so powerful. This Arabic world, when all our scientific, Indian scientific texts were translated in 8th century by Abadi in Arabic. And we always say in the history, Iran is the fountainhead of the whole Western development. Just go by the Zoroastrian teachings. My teacher, professor at Oxford, the master told me, and he wrote again the article, that all teachings of Christianity, Islam, and before that are from Zoroastrian philosophy. No religion, no Semitic religion of this world is without the influence of the Western philosophy. Such contribution given by this great area, India, West Asia, Iran, because we call this socio-cultural history. When we separated, we were Daivites, Deva, Pujak, and they were Asur Pujak. They not in bad sense as we today use. In the Rig Veda, Asur word is used for the elder brother of the Deva and who is powerful. 45 houses. First time Yajurved records that Asuras made 45 houses. And we Deva people, Indian Aryans, have to prepare such architecture. So we can't say that India has contributed a lot. No. India and Iran collectively created the history and development of this world. And again, time will come and the University of Delhi, especially Department of Persian, Department of Arabic and Sanskrit department, we all are working collectively to put forward the real truth of this great region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ramesh Bhardwaj ji, for your excellent keynote address, and really you have opened new vistas for new researches in this field. Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation. हाला बंदे इस्तदा मी कुना मस जनाब आगाइए डॉक्टर अली चगीनी सफ़ीर मुहतरम ईरान दर दिलिए नो कि लुत्फ़न तशरीफ़ बियावरंद हो बाप फारबाइशात खुदेशुन मारो सराफराज फरमायंद मन ईशान राब इन अबियात दावत मी कुनम के दाग बर दिल ज़े गमे लाले अजारी दारम पीछो ताबस कशिशे जुल्फ़ निगारी दारम यार मी आयदो हिंगाम निसारस्त मरा मरो ए जाने गिरामी बतुकारी दारम.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is pity to talk, Mr. Vice Chancellor, all dear professors here. It's very pity and bad for us when we talk about India and Iran relationship, and what a good presentation by dear Professor Ramesh regarding the Indo-Iran and means globally culture and civilization talking, but we are talking with a Western language. That's bad for us, all of us. And it is bad for me to not talk with you in Hindi or in Persian, and both of us, we should understand Persian and Hindi. Almost 50% is understandable with each other normally. It is bad, but this is on us and on the professor shoulders to revive this relation. Since that man in Western country mentioned despot and fight among civilization, we reacted immediately, and our president in that time said we should have dialogue among civilization, not fight among civilization. Because during the history, when we see the dialogue among civilization like Iran, India, China, Western, even at that time, Rome, we said, Yunnan, and Egypt, that was making civilizations. As mentioned, very well mentioned by Professor, that the columns of civilization, nobody can deny. The one is India and one is Iran. And we cannot say impact on India and Iran or Iran and India. No, civilization are giving and take. So we took a lot from India. We took the good thing, and India took the good thing from us. So that means win-win exchange of knowledge. So may I welcome all of the professors, all my teachers here, some guests that I saw, the new figures from Iran, from Uzbekistan, from Central Asian country, from Tajikistan, and my brothers and sisters, good students and researchers here. So I welcome all of you. I will mention 3 points or 4 from Persian language, from some very famous figures in this literature, and they will talk about our today's problem. I don't want about the talk about the very, very, very important linguistic. All of you know the civilization and what happened. Of course, astronomy in India was great. Medicine was great. Iran was great. Yunnan was great. So Iran was the bridge sometimes between Hindi and Yunnan. So in India, you say medicine, Unanite, but we say traditional. That means we accept some more Indian rather than the Greek one. Yes. So let me present this by Rumi علیه الرحمه. He say بشنو از نی چون حکایت می کند و از جدایی ها شکایت می کند. Even if you listen to this cane, sugar cane, but have been as a flute, when you hear well speaking about the separations between the civilization, not only the human being, but civilizations. و از جدایی ها شکایت می کند. Talking and just giving the narrative of very bad separation of the dialect and civilizations and human beings from each other. And we see the result now in our day today. We see how the civilized, so-called civilized people fighting each other, killing each other in the name of civilization, in the name of, I don't know, this and that and that and that, in the name of religion. In the name of religion, killed each other. I see one brother sick here, one Sardarji here. So I read very well Guru Nanak book. Half of it is in Persian. And using all these beauties of Persian to take coexisting brothership and being friends to each other, help each other. And we see Sa'di Buzurg, great Sa'di. تو که از مهنت دیگران بیغمی نشاید که نامد نهند آدمی بنی آدم اعضای یک پیکرند که در آفرینش ز یک گوهرند. There is no racism because all of us, we are one from one source, from one mind. که در آفرینش, when God created us from one mind. Not different. No racism. No differences. God put us in differences to know each other. God created us as a flower, difference between the flowers. If you see a garden, there is only one type of flower, it's not enjoyable. But when you see different flowers, you will enjoy. Each flower has its own perfume. Look, in this beautiful hall, you can see different figures. Ladies, men, in different shape. That's beauties of creature. بنی آدم اعضای یک پیکرند که در آفرینش ز یک گوهرند چو عضوی به درد آورد روزگار دگر عضوها را نماند قرار. If this part of my body got some pain, all my body will react to help this one. Is really now in our day now we are like that. So if we go to another poem, we can say Iran, India. What use for that? We should see the result. If Hafiz Buzurg, great Hafiz says, اگر آن ترک شیرازی from Shiraz meaning ترک به دست آرد دل ما را به خال هندویش بخشم سمرقند و بخارا را. That means the mixture of civilization. Not talk about Turk, Arab, Hindi, Irani. No. We are all the same. اگر آن ترک شیرازی به دست آرد دل ما را به خال هندویش. There is one Turk in Shiraz. He has one Hindu khal in his front. به دست آرد دل ما را به خال هندویش بخشم سمرقند و بخارا را. In Sadi Awards, I given what is poem from Hafiz, just mention about civilization talk and exchange between Iran and India. And he said now, that was in, I don't know, 600, 700 years ago. But right now is a inscription for us. The word now is sick. He said, مزاج دهر تبه شد از این بلا حافظ. Now the word is sick. کجاست فکر حکیمی و رأی برهمنی. Hakim means Irani, means intellectual, a scientist from Iran, and a Brahman from India should come and sit down and find the solution for our world right now. So, if we should talk, it is not only claim, yes, we were like this, like that. What are now we? We have such a big identity, but what use for today? Only talking, yes, Rumi, Hafiz, Sadi, this, that, I think is not enough. We should take that knowledge to our day-to-day and to use it to treat the world sicknesses. During the history, if you go to Avesta before Islam, after Islam, all this production of scientists from Iran, India, and like this, they are only want to help the people. Governance, good governance, beautiful production of civilization to help mankind and human being in his welfare. It is not only medicine. It is not astronomy. Even to play with each other, friendship, shatranj, how to play with each other. It is some imaginable fight, but it's not a real fight. They fight to each other, not we fight to each other. We enjoy the fight of that. So this shatranj means that. In the same time to make it. So textile, root of silk. This is for his. The Silk Road, what means? The biggest one was from India to Iran and to go to West. But if somebody asks me, so what about India? So I say Persian language is not Iranian language. Persian language is our Eastern language. We can say Persian language somehow is Indian language too, because Indian have a big impact on that to create some new style in Persian language. We say Sabke Hindi. So Amir Khosrow Dehlavi, Bidel Dehlavi, the others, they created this one. We are proud of that. So I'm thankful to the government of India that take the Persian language as a classic language in India, because you need this language to address to your very wealthy heritage that written in Persian, in astronomy, in medicine, in mathematics. Your heritage is in Persian. So who want to use that? Only you put it in the figures in the museum, you see this is book written. What is inside? And the most impact of colonialism on India to cut this chain between the old generation and new generation. So it is a must for universities, not only in India, in Iran, in different, to revive this language, at least to use our heritage. This is the key of that. So it is not only Sufism. Sufism, if you go to Allame Tabatabai, the big commentator of Holy Quran, he is talking about Upanishad philosophy. Upanishad was before Islam. And he was studying Upanishad. And you don't believe nowadays in Qom, in some religious school, we are studying Upanishad. Maybe in India, nobody follow. As a course in Iran, we are follow because there is the very close relation between the Sufism and Irfan in Iran and in Islam, between the old and present civilization, and some understanding of that. We should understanding the past, and we need this language. Persian language is not for Iran, it's for Uzbekistan, it's for Tajikistan, it's for everybody to go to their past to see what happened during the history and use it and serve the human being right now in our days. Of course, political borders like this, like that, that's respected. Nobody wants to take the flags. Culture, there is no border for culture. There is no border for humanity. There is no border for understanding and helping mankind. More than 100, because Ferdowsi is one of the big documents for us in pure Persian language. Professors are here and they know about that. More than 100 times, Professor Qasemi is here, mentioned about Hind, Sindh, and Mukran. That means the importance at that time also, the giving, taking the knowledge from each other. So I do believe, not this conference, and congratulate the organizer, and thanks for this very good professor conference that you paid, should be repeated. Should be repeated and repeated and repeated to find and to see and show to the students, professors, researchers, what happened and how we can take it as a heritage, as an asset for future. So Professor Alim Ashraf Khan, he given something good about Bahar and Nowruz. Now we are going on the eve of Nowruz. So I will ask him to again repeat that very beauties of Nowruz. بامدادان که تفاوت نکند لیل و نهار خوش بود دامن صحرا و تماشای بهار. He will repeat the same poem that he read it and should translate it into that. That is very beauties of Nowruz. So Nowruz is our common heritage also in this area. It's not only one Iranian. I'm very happy that UN also recognized as a Eastern and the day of world, the day of land, the day of greeny. Nowruz is Iranian, Indian, Uzbek, Tajik. All these civilizations, they recognize Nowruz as an identity for them. Yes. Because this is the time of not only human beings, the time of creature and nature that take the balance to each body and everybody. So may I welcome you, thanks again to this very beautiful seminar, very full seminar. And thank you for understanding me and giving this time to me, sir. And thanks to see again such a beautiful seminar, useful, will be repeated. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your excellent presentation, and your points were really wonderful, and we are sure in future also we will hold this type of international gatherings. But still we are looking forward for your meaningful interaction in upcoming seminars, sir, because you are so generous, and whenever we call you, No, sir, not at all. You are not a student, you are ambassador, His Excellency. So thank you very much, sir. حالا بنده تقاضے دارم از استاد عالی مقام جناب آقای پروفسور محمد کاظم کهدویی استاد دانشگاه یزد. ایشون چند بار استاد اعزامی در شبه قاره بودند و یکی از شخصیت‌های برجسته در عرصه ادبیات فارسی هستند. من ایشان را دعوت می‌دهم که لطفاً تشریف بیاورند و از فرمایشات خودشان ما را مستفید گردانند. من ایشان را با ابیاتی چند صدا می‌کنم که مکانم لا مکان باشد، نشانم بی نشان باشد، نه تن باشد نه جان باشد که من از جان جانانم. دویی از خود بیدار کردم، یکی دیدم دو عالم را، یکی جویم یکی دانم، یکی بینم یکی خانم. جناب پروفسور کاظم کهدویی.
سلام علیکم و رحمت الله. با نام و یاد خداوند بزرگ، رئیس محترم دانشگاه، سفیر محترم، رؤسای دپارتمان ها و گروه ها، با اجازه شما و با اجازه حضار محترم، ممکنه شما یک ترجمه کنید کمک من؟ دوستان بفهمند. من صحبت خیلی دارم، میخوام شما بفهمید دیگه. بالاخره یه روزی با استاد در یک کلاس بودیم ما 27 سال پیش. بله
خب اگر شما
بله.
حالا من فکر
چشم.
می‌کنم احتیاج
بعضیشو شما بفرمایید. چشم.
احتیاج نیست.
من اول از رئیس محترم دانشگاه عذرخواهی میکنم. شما اگر عرق شرم بر پیشانی من نمیبینید، هوای اینجا اون رو برداشته. درونم شرم دارم که دیر رسیدم. ما شنیده بودیم ایشان آن تایمند. ببخشید، ما در فضای شهر و مجازی گم شدیم.
Sir, he feels sorry about that. He is a bit late, and due to the traffic of the city, he is saying that he is very much disturbed due to the traffic. So
بعضی در خودشان گم میشوند.
ये कह रहे हैं कि मतलब मैं अपने आप में गुम हो गया था कि मैं कहाँ हूँ.
بعضی در بیابان گم میشوند.
कुछ लोग बेयाबान यानी जंगल में सो जाते हैं, खो जाते हैं.
ما در شهر و در فضای مجازی گم شدیم.
हम जो हैं सिर्फ कंप्यूटर और फ़ज़ाए मजाजी जो इस तरह की चीज़ें हैं, नेट है, इनमें गुम हो गए.
عذر ما رو بپذیرید.
मान लीजिए, कह रहे हैं कि हमारी हमें माफ़ कर दीजिए.
امیر خسرو میگوید من تو شدم تو من شدی، من تن شدم تو جان شدی، تا کس نگوید بعد از این من دیگرم تو دیگری. که معلوم ہے الحمدلله. خسرو غریب است و گدا افتاده در شهر شما، باید که از روی وفا سوی غریبان بنگریم. دوستان، ما اهل دانه علم، اهل فرهنگ، مانند درختانی هستیم که بین ما دیوارها کشیدند. اینا رو چاره نیست بگید. که بین ما رو دیوارها کشیدند، اما در زیر زمین ریشه ما و در آسمان برگ و شاخ و بار ما به هم متصلند. دریغم میاد اینو نگید استاد. آره خیلی خوب، بسیار خوب. بنابراین اون چه که ما رو به هم نزدیک می کند دانش و فرهنگ ماست. استاد از چند قرن سخن گفتن. ما از زمانی که پنچا تنترا کلیل و دمنه ترجمه شد حدود 1500 سال پیش و بعد حدود 900 سال پیش، بیش از 900 سال پیش به فارسی ترجمه شد، ما در حقیقت بیشتر همدیگر رو شناختیم. در شهر من یزد در ایران بسیاری الفاظ و کلمه های هندی به کار میرن. میگویند دلی والا، فلانی بمبای والا، دلی والا ہے، بمبای والا ہے. یہ کیا ہے؟ یہ باو ہے. این باسو، این سانسکریت باسو، این اردو باو، این مای سیتی آلسو باو. یه پنجره ہے، پنجره. خب اینا خب فرهنگ. من نمیخوام تأثیر فرهنگ ها رو خیلی، چون خدمت و استادان محترم فرمودند. نگاهی به خال هندو گفتند، اگر آن ترک شیرازی به دست آرد دل ما را. این خال هندو، من به معبد رفتم، معابد مختلف در برابر رام، کریشنا، رام سیتا، کریشنا، رادا، برهمن، ویشنو میان و تعظیم میکنن. بعد در پایان اون کسی نشسته یک انگشت از اون تیلک که میگذارد بله به پیشانی. This is خال هندو، یعنی خال اخلاص. یعنی وقتی یک عبادت کننده تمام عبادت ها انجام داد، به مرحله نهایت رسید، اخلاص رسید، حافظ میگوید من 2 عالم را، سمرقند دنیا، بخارا آن دنیا، به او میبخشم. به کی؟ کسی که به اخلاص رسیده باشد. بنابراین در شهر ما یک خانمی میگفت من 3 پسر دارم. One lady said I have 3 sons. 2 is the foreign. 2 نفر در خارجند. And 1 is in Hind. 2 پسر من خارج رفتند، 1 پسر در هندوستان است. یعنی بین ما و هندوستان جدایی نیست، ما یکی هستیم. یعنی وقتی که آمدیم اینجا، من بیش از 15 بار more than 15 times I came to India. All from Amritsar to Bijapur to Mumbai to Calcutta, Rampur, Patna, Delhi, everywhere I went. I think this is my city, my country. این چی هست؟ این فرهنگ است. فرهنگ ما اونقدر مشترک است، اونقدر یگانه است که احساس جدایی نمی کنیم. من مسلمانم. استاد راجیندر کمار هندو با هم کتابی را تأسیس می‌کنیم، ویشنو پورانا. درست میگم؟ کتاب ویشنو پورانا یکی از کتاب‌های مهم فلسفی و عرفانی هندوان، ولی ما اسلام می‌کنیم، با هم کار می‌کنیم. این مهم هست. درباره چندرمن کایته برهمن، چندرمن کایته بیدل مدهپوری، right? نرگسستان translate of رامایان من تصحیح کردم. I edited it. درباره داتارام برهمن حدود 180 years ago, right? دستور پارسی اور صرف پارسی من تصحیح کردم. درباره برهمن ها بسیار کار میکنیم و بدون مشکل، و این هنر ماست. این هنر ماست که بتوانیم قلب ها رو به هم نزدیک کنیم. مولانا میفرماید پس زبان همدلی خود دیگر است. من بیت دیگرش را میگویم، همزبانی خیشی و پیوندی است، مرد با نامحرمان چون بندی است. شما میروید در فلان کشور، یک باره میبینید به هندی حرف میزنه، آپ کا نام کیا ہے؟ میری بنگلادش، اپنی یو. وقتی زبان یکیست شما بلافاصله خوشحال میشوید. چرا؟ زبان. همین زبان ما را به هم نزدیک کرده. من در بنگلادش رفتم. 27 years ago I went to Dhaka, Bangladesh. In a car of university, one professor said, "Where are you from?" I told him, Iran. Oh, Iran! Sheikh Saadi rahmatullah alayh, Khayyam rahmatullah alayh, Ferdowsi rahmatullah alayh, Hafiz rahmatullah alayh. What is this? In relation, culture, civilization. این فرهنگ ماست که با هم است. من خیلی عذر میخوام در حضور بزرگان، استادان محترم از کشورهای مختلف. من در برابر همه تعظیم میکنم. من خیلی شاگرد کوچک مکتب زبان و ادبیات فارسی هستم. بکوشیم تا با این زبان، با این فرهنگ، با این تمدن دلها رو به هم نزدیک کنیم. دوستانی که از ازبکستان آمدند، از خوجند، خانم غفارآوا آمده، از تاجیکستان آمدن، از همه جا خوش آمد میگیم. ما و شما در یک آبشخور یا یک چشمه آب می نوشیم. ممنون و سپاسگزارم. ببخشید.
तशक्कुर विजयी बराई उस्ताद काजिम कहदुई एवराज मी नुमायम के हर वक्त ईशान सुखन मी गुयन वाक़ियन गुल मी पाशन एक बैत बराई फरमाइशात ईशान बैत बखूनम कि बेहर ज़मीनी के नक्शे कफ़े पाए तो बोवत, बेहर ज़मीनी के नक्शे कफ़े पाए तो बोवत, सालहा सजदगहे साहिब नज़रान खात शुद. Now, before presidential address, we are having a release of books, and for that I have to announce that जिस्म तो खाक है और खाक में मिल जाएगा, जिस्म तो खाक है और खाक में मिल जाएगा, मैं बहरहाल किताबों में मिलूँगा तुमको. इतनी इम्पॉर्टेंट है किताबें हमारे लिए. हम मर जाएंगे, हम खाक हो जाएंगे, लेकिन हमारी किताबें खाक नहीं होंगी. इस उम्मीद के साथ हर आदमी अपना अपना काम में लगा हुआ है और किताबें तहरीर कर रहा है. फ़ारसी विभाग दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय हर वर्ष एक रिसर्च जर्नल प्रकाशित करता है जिसका नाम मजल्ले तहकीकात फ़ारसी है. इस जर्नल की एक विशेषता यह है कि इसमें प्रकाशित होने वाले सारे शोध पत्र केवल फ़ारसी भाषा में होते हैं, जिसमें ईरान, अफ़गानिस्तान, ताजिकिस्तान से प्रोफेसर्स के शोध पत्र सम्मिलित होते हैं. कोरोना पैंडमिक के कारण 2020-21 का जर्नल कुछ देरी से प्रकाशित हुआ है और वर्ष 2021-22 का प्रकाशन समय पर हुआ है. मैं अपनी कुलीग डॉक्टर मेहताब जहां से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि वे ऊपर आएं और 2020-21 के जर्नल का विमोचन करवाएं. डॉक्टर मेहताब जहां. अच्छा, दूसरी भी. असल में आज के इस प्रोग्राम में 4 बुक्स रिलीज़ होनी थी. सबसे आखिर में मैंने अपना नाम रखा था. मेरा भी एक जर्नल है इसमें जो 2021-22 वाला है, वो भी है. इसी तरह से मैं और जो किताब पुस्तकें हैं उनमें एक हमारे धर्मदेव डॉक्टर धर्मदेव स्वामी साहब हैं, वाइस चांसलर साहब. वो 80 साल के हमारे एक बुज़ुर्ग हैं. और धर्मदेव स्वामी साहब क्या हॉल में तशरीफ़ रखते हैं? आप आ जाइए, आइए. और ये फ़ारसी से इनका कोई इस तरह का रिश्ता नहीं है कि इन्होंने एमए फ़ारसी में किया है या कुछ और किया है, लेकिन इन्होंने इस 80 साल की उम्र में भी फ़ारसी के से इनकी मोहब्बत जारी है. अब तक तकरीबन कोई 10 किताबों से ज़्यादा इन्होंने हिंदी, संस्कृत और हिंदी की किताबों को फ़ारसी का जामा पहनाया है. और जो पुस्तक आपके पास है वो हमारे पवन पुत्र हनुमान जी की हनुमान चालीसा है, जिसको इन्होंने स्वामी जी ने फ़ारसी में तर्जुमा किया है. वो शायरी में है, वो शेर है, लेकिन इन्होंने इसको नस्र में किया है. वाकई इनको देख के वो दिल चाहता है कि कहा जाए कि बाअमल चूम चुके चांद सितारों की जबी और बेअमल हाथ की रेखा में मुकद्दर देखे. स्वामी जी की उम्र 80 साल. एक और हमारे शागिर्द स्टूडेंट हैं हमारे चंद्रगुप्त जी, डॉक्टर चंद्रगुप्त, संस्कृत में पीएचडी हैं और फ़ारसी से शौक़ रखते हैं, फ़ारसी पढ़ रहे हैं. इन्होंने रूमी की तकरीबन कोई 125 कहानियों को इन्होंने हिंदी में इसका अनुवाद किया है. सर इसी के साथ डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पर्शियन ने एक सोवेनियर तैयार किया है, वो आप मेहमानों की खिदमत में पेश करना चाहता है। मैं प्रोफेसर राजेंद्र साहब से दरख्वास्त करता हूं कि वो सोवेनियर दिया जाए प्लीज़। Thank you very much, all the dignitaries and guests, for your valuable and precious time for this release of books. Respected Professor योगेश सिंह जी, वाइस चांसलर दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय, एवं आज के 2 दिवसीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी के उद्घाटन समारोह के अध्यक्ष, आज सुबह से हमारे बीच बैठे हैं। सर, हम आपके बहुत आभारी हैं। मैं आपको हिंदी, उर्दू और भारतीय सभ्यता से कुछ भेंट करके अध्यक्षीय भाषण के लिए आमंत्रित करना चाहता हूं। उर्दू के एक शायर ने कहा है, मैं एक मुद्दत से उर्दू के समुद्र के किनारे जो रेते में चमकते हैं वो ज़र्रे छानता हूँ। सजा के, और सुनिए सर, एक और शेर है, सजा के प्यार का सिंदूर और जला के दिए। कॉन्सेप्ट देखें आप, सजा के प्यार के सिंदूर और जला के दिए, गज़ल ने मुझको पुकारा है सुहागनों की तरह। वो सामने मस्जिद है, उस ओर शिवाला है, इन दोनों मकानों में तेरा ही उजाला है। गालिब ने बनारस की शान में एक मसनवी लिखी है फ़ारसी में, मसनवी चरागे दैर, जिसमें बनारस को उसने काबे हिंदुस्तान कहा है। कहता है, इबादत खाने नाकूसियान अस्त, हमाना काबे हिंदुस्तान अस्त। प्लीज़ सर, अध्यक्षीय भाषण के लिए मैं आपको आमंत्रित करता हूँ। आइए सर, प्लीज़।
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you. His Excellency Mr. Ali Chengi, the Honorable Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Iran, New Delhi. Professor Mohammad Kazim, Department of Persian Language and Literature, Yazd University, Iran. Professor Ramesh Gaur, Dean Academics of Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, and my old friend, Professor Rajendra Kumar, Head of Persian Department, University of Delhi, Professor Ramesh Bharadwaj, Department of Sanskrit, University of Delhi, Dr. Ali Akbar Shah, Assistant Professor of Persian, University of Delhi, and Secretary of the Persian Foundation, Professor Aleem Asaf Khan, former Head of the Department of Persian Studies and a very, very wonderful moderator and anchor. Invited guests, faculty members, my teacher colleagues, and my dear students. Good afternoon again. Today is the international seminar on the impact of Indic civilization of Persian civilization. Impact of Indic civilization on Persian civilization. And the topic is very interesting, important, and relevant. Why it is relevant? Because we know that the world order is changing very fast. And in this new world order, we have to find our place, our position, and we have to adjust ourselves. That's why the topic is very important, relevant, and very, very timely. If we want to analyze the impact of Indic civilization on Persian civilization, but the sub-themes, when I was going through the sub-themes of this conference, first is the India's glorious past that impacted the world at large. Glorious past of India that impacted world at large. India's impact on Persian language and culture. Potentiality of India becoming Vishwaguru in current times. Potentiality of India to become Vishwaguru in the current times. We all know that, and many speakers have told, Indic civilization and Persian civilizations are very, very old civilization. Now, my problem is slightly very different here. I am neither a scholar of Persian language, nor Sanskrit, nor a person of literature. I am here because I am the Vice Chancellor of the university. And then when Professor Rajendra and other professors came to me, and they say we are organizing an international conference on this topic, the topic is very interesting, the impact of Indic civilization. Then I said, please give me some talking points, and I wanted to understand the whole subject, because for me it is very new. I am a student of software engineering, but I do understand humanity. I do understand world order. I also do understand the importance of India and Iran and their togetherness in the world order. These things I do understand. Then I asked them, please give me some talking points also. Then they gave me few books and talking points and all. I was going through, it was not easy. But fortunately what happened, most of the points are covered. Most of the points are covered because they are very, very generic in nature. They were giving to me because they know that I am very, very new to the area of this study of impact and the literature effect and impact on civilizations. Then I thought yesterday, let me Google and find something for me, because I know I have to speak as a last speaker. उसमें मुझे श्रोता भी सब थके हुए मिलने हैं. It happens, and most of the wonderful speakers have already spoken. Then I Google the impact of Indic civilization on, that was, I wrote on Google, impact of Indic civilization on Persian civilization. But surprisingly, most of the literature which came out of that was effect of Persian civilization on Indic civilization. So many papers, so many books, so many effects, so many impact. Okay, but your topic is just different, reverse. But I could not find many research publications. One side is good number. And in India, we are also realizing the impact and effect. We understand also. But when it comes to the other side, lots, what I felt through Google, that lots and many things are required to be done. And I hope that that's why the department must have selected this reverse order impact, which they want to understand the reverse order impact of Indic civilization on Persian civilization. Although His Excellency Ambassador has rightly said, it cannot be a one-way. It has to be two-way. Whenever we are doing interaction, cooperation, coordination, it has to be two-way. So that's why this topic is very, very relevant. And I hope that when you will discuss, you will find new ways and means. But then immediately, one word, as an outsider of the whole concept, one person name came in my mind, that is Dara Shikoh. Because recently, one road has been dedicated to Dara Shikoh in Delhi. Although, I have some little contribution in that. Reason is, when I was the Vice Chancellor of MS University, Baroda, one Gujarati Mr. Shah came to me that my dream is there should be a road in the name of Dara Shikoh in Delhi. Although we don't have, there should be a. He was a scholar who translated 50 Upanishads from Sanskrit to Persian in 1657, translated Bhagavad Gita Sanskrit to Persian, and his contribution is immense, and we have not recognized that contribution. So there should be a road. Okay, good, there should be a road, yes, no problem. But what do you want from me? As a Vice Chancellor of MS University Baroda, what do you want from me? He said, I will prepare a proposal for you. You may not have that, you may not have time and inclination, but please, I will prepare a proposal for you and you submit to the Government of India, that proposal. Then I submitted to the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, the same proposal, and fortunately, now there is a road in the name of Dara Shikoh. One name immediately came to my mind, the person who has contributed, impacted the Persian civilization. And from there, this knowledge went to European countries. He constructed that bridge between India and Europe through Persia. India has brought much to the world, no doubt about it, because we are the old civilization. Now also we are is a country of 140 crore people. हैं ही बहुत सारे हम. So our contribution होना ही हुआ हमारा. So we are the old civilization and number is also very large. Yes, we have impacted world. We have done many, many good things, and authors have already, many speakers have already told. But you know, the treatment through herbs and plants, although not that popular, which it should have been. I don't want to go to the reasons, but one thing which Anchor said about is the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Like India has given many things, science, technology, flana, bahut sara diya. But the point is the ideas of India, which are the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means what? Word, one family for everyone. It means what? We should respect each other, trust each other, understand each other. That is the meaning of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And I was just remembering a poem written by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. When your third theme, which is potentiality of India to become Vishwaguru in current scenario. We used to be Vishwaguru, ऐसा लोग बोलते हैं. We used to be Vishwaguru, but now the potentiality that you have to debate and discuss. But Vajpayee ji has said about India and the culture of Indian culture, say, मैं तेज पुंज तमलीन जगत में फैलाया मैंने प्रकाश. मैं तेज पुंज तमलीन जगत में फैलाया मैंने प्रकाश. जगती का रच करके विनाश, कब चाहा मैंने निज का विकास. शरणागत की रक्षा की है मैंने अपना जीवन देकर. शरणागत की रक्षा की है मैंने अपना जीवन देकर. विश्वास यदि नहीं आता तो साक्षी है इतिहास अमर. So it means what? If someone came to India for help, India has provided that help. Indian culture has provided that help. This is a real contribution to India. But you know, there are many, when we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, there is also a Sanskrit shlok which we should practice. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu nirameha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukh bhag bhavet. The meaning is, may everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. May everyone see what is and may not, what is auspicious. And may no one suffer. It means what? Good for everyone. This is the fundamental principle of humanity. And in the new world order, which will emerge very soon, India and Iran can play a role in that. And why I'm saying this? Both are old civilizations. We have very common, India and Indians, and Iranians and Iran. Both have their own problems, but you know, how can we strengthen the ties? How can we work together? How can we find common platforms? How can we find policies and strengthen those ancient tie-ups with India and Iran? Whatever are the political turmoil here and there, but we should understand that in the larger interest of humanity, we should work together. That is That should be the spirit of any international seminar when we say the effect and impact of civilizations. This we have to keep in mind. Another principle which is very important, Iran should also follow. In India also we hardly follow that, but we should follow. Like the principle for administration, there is a Sanskrit shlok, very old. I try to practice, but I'm also saying very, very difficult, and which is in administration, in governance, when we say the good governance, and His Excellency has said about the good governance, the कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन. आप में से बहुत लोगों ने सुना होगा, सुना है कुछ लोगों ने? नहीं सुना. भगवत गीता का श्लोक है कि कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतु भुर्माते संगो सत्व कर्मणि. Meaning is what? To work, you have the right, but not the fruits thereof. Let not the fruits of action be your motive, nor let your attachments be the cause of inaction. That should be the principle. एक फिल्म आई थी हिंदी में, उसमें था कर्म किए जा फल की इच्छा मत रख रे इंसान, जैसे कर्म करेगा वैसे फल देगा इंसान. हाँ, वैसे फल देगा भगवान. The point is, if I am doing something, I should not attach my motive into that. But if I don't have any motive, I will not do anything. That is also not good. कि मेरे को क्या मिलना है? What for me? What for me? होता है ना, तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में बहुत लोग करते हैं कि मेरे को क्या मिलना है इसमें से? Why should I implement this? What are the advantages? I will get out of it. No. God has given you a place of decision making. Please take those decisions, keeping in mind this shlok, which is very, very important for administration. This is also India's contribution. If other countries follow, we should also follow. अभी हम ही क्या कर रहे हैं आसानी से. So then things will improve. And we all know India was a prosperous country and could maintain 36% of the world GDP for 1300 years. 36% GDP of world GDP for 300 years, 300 BC to 1000 AD. पर आप बोलोगे पुरानी बात हो गई, अब क्या है? Right now we are struggling for 3%. Imagine a country where GDP share was 36%, now we are struggling for 3%. When we got independence in 1947, it was 1%. Such a degradation in economic conditions of the country. When these Britishers came, at that time also it was about 20%. We have to think about it and take corrective actions. And this GDP was primarily, one of the important factors was the trade. We were exporting many, many things from India. But this is not possible without research, without inventions, without doing new things. It is just not possible. This also we have to think about it. And as someone has mentioned about the route, was the Silk Route in ancient time when we were maintaining this. And Professor Ramesh, head of Sanskrit, he was talking about the cotton. I don't know how many of you know when these Britishers came to India, they had not seen cotton. One of the British philosophers has written in his book that these Indians are very clever. The wool which we are getting from sheep, they are growing in plants. यानी भारत के लोग बड़े चालाक अजीब हैं, जो हम भेड़ से ऊन लेते हैं, ये पेड़ों पे उगाते हैं. But this is a silk route, cotton route. It means India, Iran, Central Asia. This was not new to us. Knowledge can come from anywhere. When we were producing knowledge, our GDP was 36%. When we have become a country of only usage of others' knowledge, our GDP is 3%. Time has come where we have to focus on new things, new initiatives, new experiments for the purpose of humanity and goodness at large for the world. And as I told you that I was on the Google, then I thought, let me find some words, very, very interesting words of Persian which are very common in Indian language, which we use on day-to-day basis without realizing that these are not our words, they are Persian words. That is the beauty of the language. कि दूसरे की चीज़ अपनी लगती है. जिला, तालुका, जामिन, बादाम, पिस्ता, जायदाद, फौजदारी, दीवानी, अदालत, इंसाफ. You are the students of Persian language. आपके पास और बहुत सारे होंगे. दिल, दिमाग, जिंदगी, जबान, खुद. And the compound nouns which were coming out of Arabic, Persian and Sanskrit. First is naukri dhando. One is coming from Persian, other is coming from Sanskrit. Nafo toto, meva mithai, dana pani. It means mixture of two languages, which His Excellency is also referring to. This combination, new words were emerged due to combination of the culture. And there are so many things which are very, very common, and we have rich Persian literature in Persian language in university libraries. But the time has come, we have not only to translate them, but we should find ways to digitize them, preserve them, protect them for the coming generations. Otherwise, those who will follow us will not forgive us for our tardiness and negligence. This is a very, very important work which is to be done by the Indian university system, because ancient literature may not be useful today. Who knows, that may be very, very important tomorrow. When George Boole invented a mathematics 0 and 1, George Boole is the inventor of the mathematics 0 and 1, where 0, 1, 2 is 1, 0, 3 is 1, 1, like that. So only two with two symbols. Everyone laughed at George Boole कि उसका दिमाग खराब हो गया है. It has no relevance. Why is he doing it? And the poor fellow could not get recognition during his lifetime. But now we all know that this Boolean algebra, designed by George Boole, is in the foundation of total digital technology and computer science. Total. He is the father figure found in foundations of most of the world's inventions now, only after 50 years of his death. So we really don't know what is there. We should protect, preserve such things which are very, very important. And lastly, some Persian words of Sanskrit origin. I worked on this, some Persian words of Sanskrit origin. For example, first is ahar in Persian, and Sanskrit word is alpahar. Then bar in Persian, var in Sanskrit. Tap and tapasya in Sanskrit, tap in Persian, same. Vat is wind in Sanskrit, bad, wind in Persian. Yauvan in Sanskrit, jawan in Persian. All are similar words. It means many, many things are similar. That is your subject. You will. But now, my request to all of you that we should work hard, find ways and means for joint collaborations with our ancient heritage. We should not forget that and think about that. How can we strengthen the relationship of India and Iran? They are necessary for humanity. They are necessary for new world order, which is changing very fast and which will emerge very soon. And India and Indians are very fond of Iran and Iranians, and vice versa also. We should keep that in mind and work in that direction for cooperation and coordination for the welfare of humanity. I hope that discussions will take place and humanity will get something very different, something very useful and meaningful in 21st century, which people say digital century, people say computer century, but no, humanity is more important than that was in 20th century. We have to keep in mind. My good wishes to the organizers and all those who are here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your sparing precious time for this conference, and congratulations for your excellent presidential address. Now, for a very difficult task, that is concluding remarks and vote of thanks, I call upon my colleague Dr. Ali Akbar Shah, Secretary Persian Foundation of India and convener of this Today International Seminar. I invite him with a couplet, मुश्किलें कुछ भी नहीं अज़्म जमा के आगे, मुश्किलें कुछ भी नहीं अज़्म जमा के आगे, हौसले आहनी दीवार गिरा देते हैं. Ali Akbar Shah.
चमन में इख्तिलाते रंग व बू से बात बनती है, चमन में इख्तिलाते रंग व बू से बात बनती है, हम ही हम हैं तो क्या हम हैं, तुम ही तुम हो तो क्या तुम हो। आपने बहुत सारे उर्दू कपलेट पढ़े तो मैंने समझा कि उसका जवाब दिया जाए, और ये हमारा जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो भी उसी पे बेस्ड है जिस शेर को मैंने आपके सामने पढ़ा। द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द सेशन, ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ दिल्ली, at the very outset, I just want to point out one thing which I have observed, and I think most of you also have observed the same fact, that Honorable Vice Chancellor possesses such a wisdom, and which is a rare mixture of intellect and administration. Whenever we got the opportunity to talk to him, hear to him, we got benefited. And it's really a matter of honor and pride for us to work in an institution where you are leading, sir. And we are thankful for you that you spared time from your very busy schedule. We are all well aware. And we hope that in future also we will receive this warm patronage from your side. Bande az Raise, az Safir Muhtarame, Jamhuriye Islamiye Iran dar Hind nis tashakkur mikonam و من باید این رو به فارسی بگویم چون شما فرمودید که ما نباید از زبان بیگانگان استفاده بکنیم و این هم یک نوع غلامی هست و این واقعیت هست که سفارت جمهوری اسلامی ایران هر وقت که ما خواستیم شما تشریف آوردید، سرپرستی فرمودید و ما واقعا متشکر هستیم. نه تنها سفارت جمهوری اسلامی ایران بلکه خانه فرهنگ جمهوری اسلامی ایران هم همینطور. آقای دکتر شکراللهی رئیس مرکز تحقیقات خانه فرهنگ هم اینجا تشریف دارند و من واقعا از شماها تشکر میکنم که شما در جمعهای ما به ماها میپیوندید. I also extend my warm thanks, though Professor Ramesh Chandra is also a host, but the dedication, the love he extended while we were planning the seminar, so that was really appreciable. So I'm thankful to you, sir, for your support and for understanding this very important concept, and that this is need of our to revive our bilateral ties with our neighboring countries. And IGNCA always has extended their patronage, their help, but particularly towards Persian department and Persian language. We normally don't see that government organization feel that importance in Persian language, but there are few institutions and people who are well aware of their past and importance of this language. So I'm very thankful to you, sir. I'm also thankful to Professor Kazim Kahdoi. من دوباره باید به فارسی از شما تشکر بکنم. شما در حالی که خود کشور هند وطن دوم شماست و یه جوری وطن اول شما هم هست، شما مدتی اینجا تشریف داشتید و همچنین مدتی در کشور بنگلادش تشریف داشتید و شما به هر حال یه چیزهایی که ما در مورد بنگالی نمیدونیم شما از ما بهتر میدونید و به هر حال شما یک شبه قاره شناس هستید. ما از شما تشکر میکنیم که برای این سمینار اینجا تشریف آوردید و ما در خدمت شما هستیم. मैं जनाब रमेश भारद्वाज साहब का भी शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, because when I went to him with Professor Rajendra Kumar, that we were looking for a person who should be aware of both the legacies, Persian as well as Indian. So we went to our neighborhood in Sanskrit department and we requested Professor Ramesh Bhardwaj, and you witnessed the knowledge and the sheer heritage he shared with you. Normally people don't have that much deep knowledge of this discipline. And one more thing which I just wanted to highlight, that it's not merely propagation of a civilization to expand that in different regions of the world. Actually, it's some kind of importance which is associated with some civilizations so that there is no need of some organized propagations for expansions of those civilizations. And in ancient time, no doubt, we have exercised that importance, and we were pioneer in different fields so that our civilization is so popular and it was so impactful not on neighboring civilizations but in all regions of the world. And this topic is not actually our intention was not to show the impact of Indian civilization on Persian civilization, but just to attract the attention, because nowadays everyone feels kind of pride in possessing or in having claim their contribution in world civilization. So when we are talking about Indian civilization and its impact, so we actually attract some kind of attention that this is the heritage we had and this kind of impact we had. But actually, between the civilization, it's give and take. And with Iran in particular and Persian civilization in general, we have a give and take. But for the now, because most of the time we have seen the vice versa impact of Persian language, Persian culture on India, but first time we saw and felt this need that we should look reverse and we should highlight the points where we can see the impact of Indian civilization on Persian civilization. And we are happy that we have received more than 40 papers, research papers on diverse fields and disciplines where the learned resource persons have shown the impact which actually India had not only on Iranian civilization, but all other, even old civilizations of the world. And in coming academic sessions, definitely we will learn and hear from the well-learned resource persons. And I'm also thankful to Professor Rajendra Kumar, in whose able leadership we were able to organize or start this 2 days international seminar. Also Professor Ali Mashraf Khan, former head department of Persian, and actually we were getting timely advices and support from these learned professors of Delhi University Department of Persian. And I'm also thankful to all distinguished guests sitting in audience, especially our foreign guests. من باید دوباره از مهمانانی که از کشور ایران، از کشور تاجیکستان، از کشور ازبکستان و کشورهای دیگه اینجا تشریف آوردن و زبانشون زبان فارسی است، شما خودتون رو بیگانه حساب نکنید. شما مهمان ما هستید و در جلسات علمی حتما ما از زبان فارسی هم استفاده خواهیم کرد. من از همه شما هم ممنونم. و and at the end I should thank to whole team of IGNCA, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. For a few minutes, Chandra Madam joined us. She is the director for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav initiative, and also other collaborating agencies, ICSSR and ARC, and also Persian Foundation of India. I am thankful to all of you, and I request you to join us for lunch. Thank you.